I want to very tentatively look at the Southport issue and some of the problems connected to the way it's been reported and the rumours that are surrounding it. I don't want to go into the rumours in any detail. They are very accessible in social media, on various sites, and I'm sure European newspapers will be drenched in those rumours quite explicitly tomorrow. But to single out this appalling stabbing, three girls have lost their lives: Bibi, Elsie, and Alice. Bibi was 6, Elsie was 7, Alice was 9. And there was a lady in the crowd today who was shouting at Keir Starmer about how she had held Alice in her arms in the past, and now she has learnt that Alice has died. But there are many other children in hospital who have been stabbed viciously, so this toll could rise. This is a community living in fear because they don't know what's going to happen next. And over the whole thing is this pall of toxicity stirred up by the media and the government, and it's about deceit, and it's about using the legal system as a way to avoid responsibility and honesty. And the concept that the attacker was 17 from Cardiff or from someplace in Lincolnshire. You know, do we have a right to any more answers? Maybe not, but we don't have a right to be fed this level of deceit, because it's the level of deceit which breeds the mistrust, which breeds the contempt, which breeds the hostility. And if our society is not stitched together with trust, there is no social cohesion, and our society collapses. And there are elements in our society which have preyed on the mistrust and on the divisions for their own ends. And part of that was the Brexit thing. The Brexit thing has fragmented our society, and we have not managed to put it back together. So whether you want Brexit or whether you don't want Brexit, who cares? Brexit is a reality. We have to live with it. But that means putting our society back together. That means education. That means integration. And our education system is not up to the job. Our education system is based on a conveyor belt where you get an exam and then you go to university. That's not education. That's branding the animals. That's some sort of package deal. Not education. Education is about a rounded personality that can deal with the world we're in. And the problem is, a lot of the education system that we've got is predicated on copying the old public school system in places like Rugby, down the road from where I live. So it's not about the state school versus the private school. It's about the state school copying the private school and churning out a version of educated children who can go on to work in the British Raj. The British Raj no longer exists. So the qualifications that we provide in this very limited range of subjects don't work. And then we mock the Mickey Mouse qualifications because those are pandering to people's interests. Well, if people have interests, they need to be stimulated and challenged so those interests can be pursued at the deepest possible level. But we also have to enrich our society with a knowledge about each other. And that's where subjects like religious studies come in, and they're not being taught properly. And people are being fobbed off with a thing called PHSE or some acronym of that sort, which is completely pointless. I remember being asked to teach PHSE, and the woman who managed the department or the organisation gave me a file which was complete rubbish. And it had the same document reprinted again and again all the way through the file. It was just a bundle of paper. It wasn't a textbook. It wasn't lesson plans. It was nothing. It was just a bundle of paper. Rubbish. And I think that sums up our society, that we don't seem to care about integration and genuine education, which is pulling out, leading forward the character of our students, developing their character so they can reason and so they can challenge what they hear. Instead, we are building this tribal absurdity. This person belongs to that tribe. This person belongs to that tribe. And if you're not in the tribe, then you're out of the tribe, and you're and you're doomed. We don't grow united by having lots of tribes. Anger is escalating because people feel disenfranchised. When Keir Starmer visited Southport today, he was heckled, he was shouted at, and he's barely been in office. He's barely been in office. How many more children you can hear shouting? And go away, you can hear the people shouting. So it doesn't matter, in a way, the identity of the attacker. What matters is the effort to disguise that identity. What matters is the effort to hide information. What matters is the feeling in the community that there isn't anyone to trust. Who do you turn to trust? Can you trust the police? We're not after Manchester Airport. Can you trust the government? Which authority figures can you trust? Because nobody's telling the truth. Because everybody is waiting to see what is going to be the accepted narrative. That's not the truth. That's propaganda. And yes, I understand why there has to be a legal process, and I understand the caution about that. And I entirely agree about it. But when we've got to a point where our society does not trust the people in control, which it demonstrably does not, then we need slightly more than rhetoric to rebuild it. We need to start at the bottom. We need to start with education. We need to start with integration. I made a video earlier today, said that when people come into this country, we need to learn from the Israelis. We need to impose English language classes and basic education in our values, not some silly test, a citizenship test. That's not what we need. We need education, and people should pay back. People should pay back the charge of this thing from their wages as they move into professional work and further integrate into our society. But our students going to schools and colleges and universities need to have a better standard of education. It needs to be slightly more than just filling in handouts and being bored in class. We have so much information spinning around in the web. The teacher is no longer the guardian of the information. The teacher should be able to direct children to look at particular sites, to find particular information in books, to learn how to use research tools. But the teacher is there to moderate and to inspire, and they seem to have forgotten this. And who are the role models in children's lives? Pop singers, footballers. Where are the teachers who are the role models? Where are the statesmen and women who are the role models? When we look at the Parliament, we mock, and rightly so. Why are we not encouraging better people into politics? Maybe this new intake will give us better people. I met a politician the other day, and I was really impressed by him. He's part of the new intake, and he himself had been mocked and ridiculed by Johnny Mercer. But he seemed an affable, thoughtful, intelligent, and sound individual, someone who could inspire. I hope there's more people like that coming into Parliament. But evasiveness is not going to breed trust, is it? We need to instill a sense of cohesion, a sense of unity. Because without that, our society is going to collapse. This is not one isolated incident. This is part of a barrage of chaos. Fracturing, further fracturing, exploiting the fractures in our society.